Brendan O'Leary Orange, the intriguing receiver, joins the Three Down Nation podcast. Man, thanks for taking some time.
What's up? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Brendan, where do we find you right now?
Right now, I'm out here in Reno, Nevada, just working out and also staying safe from this whole COVID-19 situation.
And you're a Toronto native, so do you have any family back in Canada that you've been in touch with, as you mentioned, during the coronavirus crisis?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's my mom and dad for surely. Definitely call them probably every single day, talk to them. I know my mom wants to talk to me every day, make sure I'm okay, and everything with this whole situation and everything that's going on.
How did you end up going from the T dot out to Nevada?
Well, I ended up playing high school ball at Michael Power, and then I ended up going and opting to do a fifth year after having a really good OBFL season playing for the Etobicoke Eagles. And in that fifth year, I ended up playing at Canada Prep, where I played receiver. Ended up playing pretty well, catching the eyes of some college scouts and some college schools. And ended up getting the Nevada offer, and from there, never looked back.
Were there any other NCAA schools that you were choosing between? And if so, what put Nevada on top?
For me at the time, Nevada was kind of one of my first offers that I got. And it's like sitting there and talking to my coach at the time, Jeff MacArthur. We both thought that it would be best for me to just to take it. And after that, there was a couple schools that tried to talk to me, like Eastern Michigan tried to talk to me, Cal, Berkeley, Oregon State. But I felt like I was in a good position with Nevada, so I just chose to stay.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I played volleyball growing up, basketball, and I ran a lot of track and field.
And did it ever come to the point where you had to sort of put some of those aside and focus on football? And if so, how did you do that?
Yeah, in high school, I had to make a decision between, it was kind of like playing basketball and playing volleyball and playing football. And it came down to, I know I just felt like I had more of a future in football, and it was something that like I wanted to invest my time into.
So you end up at Nevada and sort of burst on the scene there. You had a really big game, I believe over 200 yards. And what was that, 2016 or 2017?
2017, yeah.
How did that all come together so quickly?
Shoot, I guess it came together fast. Lots of ups and downs in Nevada, definitely. But at the end of the day, it was an amazing opportunity, amazing experience, and it was the ability to compete against some of the highest competition in America, which I definitely love to compete more than anything.
Could you believe at the end of that game that you had over 200 yards on the day and were among the leaders in school history for single game receiving yards?
Honestly, I was kind of shocked towards the end of the game because like I kind of just was just playing honestly, and like didn't really like I wasn't really noticing like my success. It was more along the lines of just kind of just playing and everything.
And what about your time at the University of Nevada as well? I know you did take some time away from the football program to sort of focus on your academics. What happened there, and why did you make that decision?
I think it was like freshman year. I kind of had a little bit of a struggle with like some of my grades in the classroom and everything, and I kind of had to take some time to kind of focus on my priorities and everything that I needed to do, and that was, I guess, school first, and then football, and everything came second, and then of course family come before that. But
Was that your first time away from home, like living away from home?
besides Canada Prep, yeah, it was my first time living away from home.
So was it any different, sort of getting used to the culture there at Nevada or anything like that?
I guess you could say it was a little bit of a adjustment. You know, you had to kind of get used to the climate of how everybody is. You have to adjust to how people talk, the slangs, the jargons that they use. You really need to kind of just kind of almost be a fly on the wall at first.
So you have the big game over 200 yards, and then in 2018, some adversities dealt your way where you're stretchered off the field. What was that ordeal like to go through?
It was kind of, honestly, it was really shocking for me. And it honestly was kind of devastating for a little bit, I guess you'd say, because, you know, I feel like I was up in a pretty big game. And then I almost caught a pretty big pass. And then next thing you know, I just remember telling the quarterback, like, I could beat him on a go ball. And then the ball went up. And then I came down and I hit my head really hard. And then I just remember being on in front, like, held down by like 8 different people. And it was kind of like I was in shock for a moment. But other than that, it was almost like just a surreal feeling. And I'm just really glad that I'm able to talk about it in a positive way and able to, move on and play another play after that.
It seemed like you came back pretty quickly, and if I'm right, I believe you caught a touchdown in that game that you did return in. How long did the recovery process take?
With you never really know with concussions because they're always different with every different athlete and everything. But the recovery process definitely took its time, and it took a little bit of a toll on me, especially trying to come back and play right away, or as soon as I possibly could. But other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Did you ever feel like the injury was going to potentially even affect your ability to walk or run or get back on the field? Was it that severe, or was it more just about your head?
No, it was just I felt like I was just like knocked unconscious, and I never really had any fear or any worry that it was going to be anything more serious than that.
That's good, man. Prayers up for that. Overall, at Nevada, what was your experience like there? Because it's a school that gets a lot of attention. Obviously, one of its biggest alumni is Colin Kaepernick. Cody Fajardo, the quarterback now, the franchise guy with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What was it like playing ball there?
Honestly, it was an amazing opportunity and amazing experience getting to play in the Mountain West amazing conference, getting to play all across America in my college career. It was truly a blessing, something that I'll always take with me and I'll always remember for the rest of my life.
What was some of the biggest atmospheres or stadiums that you played in that come to mind for you in the NCAA?
Probably one of my favorite games that we played was in 2017. We had a shootout against Colorado State, and they had their homecoming against us that night, and they just unveiled it was like their brand new stadium and everything, and it was a beautiful facility and everything. It was amazing atmosphere. It was freezing outside, and you still saw fans with their shirts off, with paint written on them. But at the end of the day, nothing beat playing UNLV at home at Mackey, and just the home crowd and the home environment that you would get.
What's that rivalry like?
A lot of animosity. A lot of animosity.
A lot of chirping on the field?
Man.
That says it all. Who was the best player that you went against during your time there?
Probably the best player I competed against. Probably when we played Vanderbilt, 2018. I competed against a corner who was drafted second round by the Dallas Cowboys.
What was his name?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think. I think I remember I traded gloves with him, but can't remember what his name was.
Now, maybe I'll come to you later. Are there any guys from the Nevada program that you've played with that are either now in the NFL or the CFL?
Yeah, I played with Don Jackson and Lenny Jones, and both of those guys had Lenny signed with the Calgary Stampeders, and Don signed with the Hamilton Tiger Cats after winning a Grey Cup with Calgary.
Have you talked to any of those guys about what it's like playing in the CFL?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I definitely had to talk to them for a little bit and kind of just pick their brains. I also talked to Cody, too, even though I never actually played with him. Just trying to get a better understanding of everything and just trying to soak in as much knowledge as I possibly can.
What did Cody have to tell you?
Just a lot of things. I definitely took in a lot of information from him, a lot of important information, too.
Is that a place that you wouldn't mind playing? Saskatchewan's known for their rabid fans, and they love Cody there in Riderville.
There's no place I wouldn't mind playing anywhere.
What about your hometown?
I would love to. Obviously, you would love to play at your hometown, but I still wouldn't turn down anywhere else.
And in terms of the draft process overall, I would imagine that you would have been preparing for a pro day at Nevada. It probably
Yes,
was
sir.
canceled. Yeah, so it was canceled due to
Uh,
the coronavirus. What steps have you been taking to either get your film out or maybe try to get some sort of test results or measurements to scouts on both sides of the border?
well, the biggest thing is kind of like I guess my strength coaches and everything at the University of Nevada. Like for me, I feel like my time spent in Nevada, I was able to, put not only a lot of good film together, but also put together like good numbers in the weight room that were like, for example, like a 40-yard dash and everything. And I guess when scouts are looking for those numbers, or looking for like what if numbers, the only person I can really turn them to is our strength coaches, like receiver coaches, like they can all vouch for that. But other than that, it's just me, working out day to day, and just if someone asks for a video or something like that, I could obviously provide that for them. But other than that, that's basically all I've been doing.
What's the best 40 that you've ever run, or what would you have run at your pro day?
Oh, I definitely think I would have ran a 4.3
Woo,
in the
that's
four
some
in the 4.3
speed.
range, around 4.37, 4.38.
Do you get that from your dad?
Yes, sir.
And for people that don't know, your dad played pro football. Were you around for any of that career? Or do you
Uh,
remember talking to him about it?
no, I wasn't around for it, but I do talk to him about it a lot. And I also just kind of like being a kid, like I was always around. Like the game of football was always played and like always talked about at my house. And there would always be like people talking to my dad about it and everything, which kind of just kind of intrigued me a little bit as a kid, and always made me wonder. Like I wonder why they're talking to him about that. Like so that's basically it.
Doyle Orange, we should say, was your dad's name, and he was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, I believe, and then played for a couple CFL teams. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And has it been talked about that you could potentially sort of follow in his footsteps and maybe play for some of those same teams?
No, yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely.
Has he helped you out along this journey?
He definitely has, like more than anything, especially with like mentorship and everything. It's so hard to get to where you're trying to get, especially when you're young. And there's so many distractions when you grow up, especially in the city of Toronto and everything. And the biggest thing for him, and for me when I was younger, I always used to be like, "Yo, Dad, like, can I go out? Can I do this? I want to do this. I want to do that." And he used to always be like, like Brendan, you gonna understand when you're older, but you say you want all these things, you can't want one thing and then want to do the other thing. And I was just like, Dad, like now that I look back at it, the situation that I'm in right now with the position, I can look back at it and really thank him and say you're absolutely right. Like,
Do you feel like you got a lot of his genes, or at least some of his genes? And did your mom play any sports?
I think my mom played a little bit of sports, like in high school. She played like basketball and volleyball, but I definitely got a lot of my dad's athleticism. Um, I guess you could say, and then I guess my younger brother did too.
Did your younger brother play ball too?
He plays basketball for the University of Ryerson.
Oh, right on. What's his name?
Liam William Orange.
Ryerson's a pretty good program too.
Yes, sir. They definitely are.
Did you ever think about playing ball at the university level?
I thought about playing CIS and everything for a little bit, but then I had an opportunity to play Canada Prep, and I just took it and took a little bit of a risk and a bet on myself.
What kind of receiver do you see yourself as, or do you model your game after any pro receiver right now?
Uh, any pro receiver, I think I model myself after. I try to really model myself after Mike Thomas and just try and be a complete receiver and have a complete game.
Damn, that's a good one. Have you been talking to teams on both sides of the border over the phone or Zoom or Skype calls or anything like that?
Yeah, I did a couple of Zoom calls this week and everything.
What's that process been like for you?
It's been a little bit tricky, but it's trying to load up all the Zoom calls and everything. But other than that, it's been cool.
Are there any questions that were a curveball for you or maybe caught you off guard?
Nothing too much. It's just been an exciting opportunity, and truly blessed to have this opportunity, and thankful.
And it's always maybe hard to say what could happen in a draft. It's really unpredictable. But do you get a sense of what could happen to you in terms of the NFL draft or the CFL draft?
I don't really have. I kind of have my fingers crossed and just hope for the best. And at the end of the day, God doesn't put you in any place that you weren't meant to be.
Are there anything that people might not know about you that is unique?
I like to draw. Like I can, like art, like artists.
So you could draw yourself catching a TD pass on the field kind of thing?
Yeah.
Cool. Can we see your drawings anywhere on Instagram or Twitter or something like that?
My mom has a bunch of them, like at home in Toronto.
Ah, okay. So what's your focus essentially right now and then leading up to the draft?
My focus right now is just to work out, stay in the best shape that I can, and just be ready, and be ready for when a team calls my name. And then once that happens, just be ready to show up and work from day one and give them everything I can.
And considering obviously the coronavirus, that's maybe limited some people's abilities to go to the gym or different facilities to work out. So are you doing that at home? How are you getting creative with that stuff?
Oh, I have a bunch of different weights here and a bunch of different bands and everything. I'm able to do a bunch of core exercises and a bunch of different like strengthening activities with different bands and everything.
Do you get to watch any CFL games while you've been at Nevada? Like, can you access them on ESPN down there? Or I think they used to be on NFL Network too. Do you ever keep up with any of them?
No, I watch a couple of them when I can on the ESPN network.
But I guess you guys are busy enough in season with your own practice and games, right?
Yeah, and then we got homework, study hall, all that other stuff.
Is Don Jackson trying to get you to come to the Ticats with him? Or hoping for it?
Shoot. We'll see.
That'd be a good guy to have in your corner as a guy maybe that can sort of relay what you're like in the locker room and all that kind of stuff. Do you think the Ticats are maybe asking Don those kind of questions?
I'm sure they probably asked him their fair share of questions.
And would your dad mind? I know he played for both the Argos and the Ticats. Does he have a preference if he had to choose between those two, just considering the heated rivalry between those two teams?
I don't really think he would have too big of a preference. I'm sure he would just enjoy the fact of, kind of just me just playing and everything.
Are there any other players in the league? I know we spoke about teammates earlier, but maybe players that you've played against at the college level that are either in the CFL or the NFL?
I know that there should be a bunch of them I probably played against, but other than that, I'm not too really too sure.
Awesome, man. Well, Brendan, we appreciate you taking some time out of the schedule to join us and give us a little bit of an insight into what you're doing to keep it in shape and your draft process. And we're all really curious to see where you end up in the NFL or the CFL and watching your career get going as a pro.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.